Well, welcome back everyone to Blackstone Zoo. Okay, so I had the crazy idea. Let's go on a little zoo tour, right? So, in case if you guys are relatively new to the channel, and by relatively new, I mean, showed up in the last 2 years, this park was an oldie but a goodie. It's been here for quite some time, and I thought it would be kind of fun just to kind of go through and see if we can kind of take away some inspiration from long ago. There's been so many changes to the game ever since this kind of like park was developed, and I think it'd be kind of a fun little trip to go through memory lane and kind of see what we used to do before and maybe take away some inspiration. So welcome everyone. This is a park that I was very proud of back in the day, and I still kind of am, at least mostly for the ideas. This was back in the days of like replacement new species, so before we actually had new species coding, we could never really add like new species entirely, so we would have to make do with like animal replacements. So essentially what that meant was, instead of having like, a grizzly bear, and if you really want an Andean bear, you would have to use an Andean bear and you can't have the grizzly. It was either or. But that's how we ended up with stuff like the North American river otter habitat being replaced by like the giant otter and stuff. Very, very strange times indeed. But let's get started. Obviously, we kind of had that Woodland Park Zoo entrance that I feel like everyone kind of needs to make. I feel like every single person in Planet Zoo has made this at least at one point in their lives. But we kind of go through these turnstiles. I'm not sure if I kept place of like what blueprints I used, but nevertheless, we had like a little gift shop in here. Just very simple blueprints from way back in the day. These are just very, very old. I remember people used to use these all the time. There's so much better pieces nowadays, but it's just so cute just to go back in here and kind of check out what we used to use. I know like this is like Paulsley's stuff. That's a bit of a throwback right there. I had the idea too to get like a little terrarium in here, but I never really did anything with it. So sad. But let's actually continue on to the zoo itself. And again, like these are some of the small issues that we had back in the day where, I just really wasn't paying too much close attention to like all the little details and stuff. But as we continue our way up here, I wanted to start off with flamingos, as any self-respecting Planet Zoo player does. So I originally had the graders in here, and then I swapped them out for the Americans. With the replacements, of course. And we had like all these small little changes in here. You can see they're flying right over there. That's crazy. Who needs flying macaws and stuff when we have flying flamingos? But I remember back in the day when we turned like the faux rocks into white little patches, and we were like, oh my god, that is like so cool. Like, I can't believe you guys put down like bird poop and stuff. When nowadays you could literally have like stuff that looks even better with the decals. Like, going through here and seeing all these changes, it's so crazy to see just how far we've come with like even the piece quality alone. And this is kind of where I started to just kind of lose it. I had this nice little idea for a cute little flamingo restaurant, thought that would be kind of cute, but you could tell this is very much early leaf builds over here. Just like the wood stained walls that doesn't match up and stuff. Just very old builds back in here, but it's just so nice to see like, how far we've come. And especially things like, the little path dividers over here with like those faux rocks. I thought that was super cute. Even, I love these fences. Like, they're so simple, but I just love the fact that we use like the baskets as a way to kind of create that little bottom part right there. I feel like no one really does that anymore. It's so cute. I gotta make like a blueprint pack in here. But making our way throughout here, I was heavily inspired by like Haribo stuff throughout here. So I have like this little succulent garden, just a nice little nature area where you can kind of walk through, check out some cool plants. We have the bald eagles up there. I think those were made by ZZ. And it's just like a nice big aviary, just my kind of first swing into that stuff. This is the big part. This is like the gargantuan idea that I had. Always loved Australia, especially back here. And I had the idea to do like this big Australia house. Like, this was going to be like the biggest thing I've ever done. So I had like all these Australian birds. It was rainbow lories. It was like zebra finches. Had the palm cockatoos in here by Drac. Obviously, back in the day, we didn't really focus on one side of the animal. We really focused on, certain angles. But we had little blue penguins in here. You could see I used some of ZZ's blueprint ones in here. I think this was before the mod was even a thing. Also super impressed with myself for doing custom pathing throughout here. I feel like the gray really works a lot well in here, but I never really continued it. I think these are all like custom too, right? That is crazy. I was a crazy little lad back in the day. But yeah, I had this indoor cassowary space, and that area was going to go out to like a Australian walkabout area. I don't know. I would love to bring this idea back relatively soon, but I just don't really have a good idea on how to do that itself. Kookaburras right here. Obviously, some of this stuff would need to be netted in, but I had this really cool idea. This was before I was like kind of blue-pilled on like the zoo care and welfare and stuff. I had like jabroos down in there. This was kind of cool. I had like the kiwis in there. Obviously, you wouldn't really have them out here in like an area like that. I had the cockapos right over here, like mini New Zealand area. Thought that was kind of cute. And then you have this little vista over like the entire place. I don't know. I really did like this. It has its charm, but I'm kind of glad I don't have this park being made on anymore. But yeah, let's kind of continue on elsewhere. So let's kind of continue down our American Adventures trail. Always did love to make American areas. I feel like there's some of the more fun that you could have with making animals. Making animal habitats, really. I had this little mini education area that I never really worked on. I had this big area back here where you could see like, all the terrarium animals. I don't even think anything's really in here except for like snakes and stuff. I think there's tarantulas in here. Yeah, Mexican red knee tarantula. But obviously, too big of an enclosure to actually see these guys in. Quite a bit of a shame. But what I did like in here is this little gardening area. I thought this was super cute. So you could kind of walk through here, see how like the horticulture is done for like the animals and stuff. And then pop out here and get like an alternate view of the Doll Sheep Mountain. I really do like the use of like the glacier rocks in here. I thought that was super cute to do. But yeah, you could see custom kind of barn doors over there. I thought this was really, really fun. Like, I thought this was top notch when I was making it, but looking at it back in the day, oh man, we can do so much better. But I don't know, I just find it so charming. But we pop back over here. Obviously you wouldn't walk through here unless if you're a little criminal. But there's just so much small details that I'm just so impressed with myself for doing like these little rocks over here with like the grasses hanging out and stuff like that. Over here I had like a possum exhibit. I thought that was kind of cute. Possum, yeah, right? Yeah. And then we have like this little archway over here where you could actually see like kind of like the grand view of the Doll Sheep Mountain. I thought that was super cool just to have right there. But continuing on our little tour throughout here, I had like S-Dam's Beaver House. Big shout out to S-Dan. I feel like I haven't talked to the guy in a while. I gotta reach out to him again. But this is where we had our beavers. I kind of threw these guys in once we actually got like the North America pack. But yeah, just a really nice beaver exhibit. I have rushing water in here, which by the way, if you do have rushing water in a beaver exhibit, you're essentially having them go crazy. I gotta talk about this splash pad. But no, essentially, if you have rushing water in a beaver dam, it's gonna have them go crazy because they have this instinctual need to constantly plug up water sources. And if you essentially have one that they can't plug up, you're gonna create so many mental problems for them. So yeah, this is kind of like before my zoo welfare days. Yeah. You'll see that a little bit as we kind of get down there. But this is our little splash pad. I thought this was like a super, super adorable idea. So I have this rock kind of balancing up here, and you may be saying, oh my god, that's crazy. How are you doing that? I have this little beam in here. I thought this was a really fun idea just to be able to, if I could actually select it. I thought that was super cool just to be able to integrate that in there so it gives the illusion that it's floating, but you actually have the infrastructure that it's, constantly supported. One thing I'm already starting to notice about the zoo too is that the pacing feels so much better than my other projects because I'm giving the zoo so much time to breathe. Like there's so much area in between these habitats that makes it feel like, you can enjoy your time in between the exhibits, and I feel like that's super important. This is certainly a giant otter exhibit, though. Originally, I had this planned for North American river otters, but again, one of my issues back in the day was a good sense of scale. I was always building for the animal kind of like dynamics in Planet Zoo without actually thinking about realism and realistic size. But I do enjoy like some of the stuff I did up here, like this little water area. I feel like I don't really do anything kind of like that anymore. Just like nice shallow water for the otters to kind of climb around with. I gotta do something like that soon. I don't know, I always did like that. But the otters are able to swim all around here. Obviously, giant otters would kind of need a lot more habitat requirements in this. But, I don't know, I always thought that was super cool just to be able to work with. Making our way down here. Again, just some of the smaller stuff I would do. This was when I wasn't really doing speed builds. So I could take my time and experiment a lot more. But I had this little water feature idea where you could kind of see like fish migration. Kind of going upstream, these would be kind of like salmon. And I even had like some crabs down here, crab statues, of course. And I thought that was so cool right there. I mean, look at that. I gotta bring that back in some way or another. I feel like that is definitely Hope Harbor material. But we can kind of get started on like our first split. So we'll go to the right. I really do like the deep woods area. So essentially you would kind of make your way down here. You would get like all this signage of like wolves and like, you know, wolf care, how like wolf family dynamics work out. Really super happy about this pathing technique. I always love doing this. But essentially mixing the mulch with the actual mulch pieces, I thought that was super cute. And this is kind of reminiscent of our latest Talkin' exhibit, so you could kind of see that, you know, I did that kind of, you know, I don't know how tiered exhibit design with like the separations for, you know, the different levels and stuff. I really do love this exhibit. I feel like I want to remake this in Hope Harbor, because I feel like, you know, my general scenery dynamics have gotten so much better, but just the layout of this exhibit I really do love. Even back in the day, I had like these climb-proof nettings and like, you know, the things that could catch your phone if it fell into the exhibit or something. And look how thick that is. I mean, come on, we have so many better pieces nowadays. But man, just seeing these animals explore these exhibits gives me like, I don't know, I remember back in the day, just Planet Zoo had like this kind of magic to it. Not that it doesn't have any magic to it anymore, but I don't know. I remember the glee of playing like the beta and all that stuff. Little owl aviary right here. I kind of copy pasted these aviaries all throughout. But let's pop back over here, back to the split, kind of cutting across the pathway. So I had like bathrooms and changing rooms in here. I also had like that little lookout up there. But yeah, I had this little bathroom and changing room for the splash pad, which was right over there. Not too far of a walk, so I think that doesn't really matter too much. But over here you can start to see we get included in like, you know, the prairie dogs and stuff. So again, I was able to add these guys once they actually came out in the pack. And yeah, I don't know, I always did love this prairie dog exhibit. It was so cute to do. Obviously you could kind of climb your way throughout here, kind of based off of like, you know, the sort of Central America kind of like Great Plains rock work that you get over there. And it's just a really, really adorable exhibit with like climb-proof fencing and stuff, kind of leans over the habitat. So you could get kind of like a more unique view into there. Always did love that stuff. And yeah, just look at that. I don't know. Obviously not as detailed as my work nowadays, but it's just so cool just to see like, you know, how I was able to think back in the day. Moving on over here, we have the Bison and Pronghorn exhibit. Just a very big plains area that they're able to kind of traverse and stuff like that. Even back in the day, though, I was super proud of this, like doing the pace marks. Super awesome just to be able to see that stuff come into play. And like all these small little details I did, like using the faux rock work to create like that little painted look for the pronghorn right there. Even doing the same for like the bison back over here. I always thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it for over there. Actually, let's pop over here. I really do love this little view over here. So I think these are Rudy's binoculars, but essentially they would allow you to get a better look into the grizzly bear exhibit, look at the funicular, look at all this stuff. Oh my gosh, we're going to get to it in a little bit. But yeah, this was a vista I was super proud of. It just feels so awesome. I don't know. Really, really fun stuff over there. So let's go back to that other split. This is a horrible zoo layout. I've gotten better with kind of like directions. Probably not spacing out, but definitely directions. I've kind of gotten a little bit better with. But making our way down here, you can see that we have all these lovely little views, lovely little splits to actually view these animals in. So this is our big bear exhibit back over here. Grizzly bears, really big boys. I really didn't want to obstruct the view over here with glass or anything, so it kind of looks down into the exhibit. Obviously, there's a small bit of issues, like you wouldn't be able to see the bears if they're completely covered up in these areas. But I thought it was super fun just to be able to have all that stuff. I don't know. I really do like that. And of course, we have some wild geese down there. Let's pop back into explore mode. I don't know. Always did love these views. It was so beautiful. Miss this park. But yeah, again, here come the splits again. So we could pop down here very quickly. We could actually check out, like, I had this little mines area. I thought this was kind of cool. So it's kind of based off of like the western mining towns. And we have like this water feature going throughout there. And then down here we have like a walk through deer forest. I gotta add some deer in here. Just fallow deer, nothing crazy. It was fallow deer back in the day, and now that we finally got them, I can actually add them. Isn't that crazy? So popping down here, you can see we have all these beautiful views into the underwater section. Obviously, grizzly bears aren't the most swimly animals. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I had to include this. Like, this was before they could even deep dive, and when they were finally able to deep dive, I was like, oh my god, we gotta check it out. Unfortunately, they aren't doing it right now, which is a little sad, but oh my gosh, these vistas in here. I do love the theming here too, just like the kind of mulch on the walls makes you really feel like you're underground, which I guess technically you are. But I don't know, I gotta bring this stuff back, you know? Really cool stuff in here, and like the exit sign, all these little cross beams in here. I thought that was super cute. But continuing on throughout here, we have the little walk through deer forest, nothing crazy, you know? Just the deer get to relax in here. But popping over here, we can actually see I have this little Native American setup, Indigenous American setup. So I have this based off of some New England tribe. Let's check it out. Miwok. So it's based on like the Miwok. So that's like an acorn tumbler. I forget what it's actually called, but it has an actual name. You guys can check out the old videos on Blackstone Zoo if you guys want to see that. Very quickly checking out this Asia area because I really didn't do anything with it. I wanted a funicular. I don't know. I just thought they were like the coolest things ever. So I have these custom train tracks throughout here, and I made these funiculars by hand. It was really, really crazy back in the day. Obviously not functional. That's a little sad, but it's totally fine. I also love what I did back here. I used the Mecharoo as a way to get like working gears and stuff. I thought that was super fun. So like that one is broken. I put some like smoke effects in there. Really funky stuff. And of course we have the red panda habitat. Obviously you could tell it's not the best view. Like you can get a good view over here, but anything else you're not really looking at anything. And a bit too big for a red panda habitat at that rate too. It just didn't make sense. Another reason why I kind of abandoned this park. A lot of stuff just started to get out of hand. I really wasn't feeling it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So popping back over here, we can actually check out the look down into the deer exhibit. I thought this was super cool right here too. But it just gives you a better look in here. Some people don't like walkthrough exhibits. Some people are scared of animals. So you gotta always take in mind like how you can still demonstrate those animals without getting people too close to them. Some people don't like mammals. Some people don't like reptiles. Some people don't like amphibians. You always gotta take that stuff into account. Over here, this is very much based off of that Yosemite hotel. What did I... Yeah, once I actually get a good building, sure. Not doing that previously, sorry about that. Always did love this build though. Like all the colors in here, obviously the infrastructure really isn't the best, but these banners over here, like the very dilapidated red, white, and blue banners, I always love those. Those were so cool. Oh no, it was just so nice to see. I had this tree with the intention that it would be decorated in like winter and stuff, so that's cute. But that's really it happening over there. I have these little duck ponds, of course, just because I need my ambient ducks. The vistas in here are super cool too. You get some really nice far away glimpses at what's happening everywhere. And it's just really awesome to see. I don't know. I really like that. But you could tell this is very much base game Planet Zoo. Like, this is 1.4 builds in a nutshell. All the faux rock with, like, you know, the dark undertones. Because nowadays, you guys know, my crack colors are always white just to give, like, a bit more of a realistic color. I don't know. Here's Goron's playground set, obviously. This is still a staple in my zoos whenever I can build stuff like this. Really, really awesome blueprint set that still stands the test of time. Just really awesome pieces to help make your zoos a little bit more realistic. Honestly, you know what? I'm saving this. I'm saving this right now. I feel like I'm too lazy to build stuff like this anymore. And this is already so great, so I just want to save this. So yeah, thank you, Goron, for reigniting my love for playgrounds. Playground to Blackstone. Playground. Awesome. Isn't that great? So cool. Yeah, that's pretty much that right there. So then we got started on our South America section. This one was kind of cool. So by the time that I was building this, I just got back from Cuba. So I was very, very inspired by, like, you know, just Cuban architecture and stuff like that. I thought it was super cool how I made, like, these flags in here. I have, like, this New Orleans band up here for some reason. Don't know why. But this was honestly a cool little excursion in here. So I had, like, this big Caribbean reef tank in here. And for some reason I have a giant Pacific octopus. Kind of stupid by me, but honestly it's fine. But I had intentions for, like, bathrooms in here and stuff, but I never really fully realized it. Again, I really wasn't too good with building interiors back then. I'm still not good with building interiors now. But, I don't know, I still had a lot of fun with it. So I had, like, capuchins in here. Thought that was a kind of fun idea. But once we actually get in here, this was honestly one of my favorite areas to pop in. I had these little terrariums on the wall, but I had this big bat cave for probably, like, Jamaican fruit bat or something. This was a really fun build to do, and we had, like, the Amazonian giant centipedes as kind of like a stand-in for any other kind of large creepy crawly or something like that. So yeah, you kind of pop your way throughout here, some more terrariums in here, and then you could get, like, this crocodile exhibit. Again, didn't do anything with it. Like, I had the bare bones for it, but I never really fully realized it. Kind of like this entire park, sadly. But over here I had stuff like the Patagonian Maras, because of course I was obsessed with them back in the day, and I still am. And I had the capybara exhibit, which I don't think our capybara are in here. So sad. Ah, man, this was crazy. That was when the capybara mod was based off of the reindeer. You guys remember that? That is like just very crazy from back in the day. But that's really it for Blackstone Zoo. I don't know, I kind of felt the need to pop back in here and do a little mini tour with you guys. Oh yeah, big shout out to Eben's, like, you know, monstrous buildings back there. They always do help to set the mood, and it's just really, really awesome to have that sense of scale in the back. Like, look at that. That works so well. But I think we're going to end it right there. Let me know what you guys think. I honestly might just throw this on the workshop just because I would honestly love to see you guys play around with it. So honestly, yeah, I think I'm going to try that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to check out the Blackstone Zoo series, this should be in the playlist of that. But this is kind of like an official send-off to this park. So if you guys want to take it on your own and maybe build onto it, finish some sections, I would love to see that. Send me pictures of that stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of done with this park, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Goodbye now.